Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today we're here for Kamen Gotchard episode 43, and in this episode we get the conclusion of the research facility arc. We see that Grion has basically created a whole new thing for basically his own little army that he's got going on now. We get the conclusion of Sabimaru and you know, all the stuff that happened with his brother, and we got a new Kimi that's out there somewhere, little Kamedan, our little our little cannon turtle. And I was kind of hoping that this Kimi would stay around a little bit longer. I would really like to see a form with this Kimi, as essentially, since it's a Kimi created by Sabimaru and his brother. But we see that they basically resolved their differences in this episode. And you know, Sabimaru's his older brother thought that he felt bad that he felt bad that he took all the credit for Sabimaru's creation, but Sabimaru basically told him that, hey, we both created Kamedan, so it's not really like your fault, like you've been mad about this like all this time and things like that. And there really isn't a lot of plot that's going on, like a lot of main plot going on in this episode, except with like we see Mommy and Grion's past with each other. Basically they were like in the same research group, and she found out his intentions and stuff, and she basically kept her distance from him. But yeah, he basically came there to steal the Isaac AI, to basically learn how to use it to form his own type of AI, I guess, where he's able to use Isaac. He ends up creating a dread driver, and he can now like summon Dread as like his own like soldier or something like that, just like how he's able to create a golem. Because now that he's back, he was basically brought back by using Jeremiah's body. All of Jeremiah's powers are his now, so he's able to use that and basically do everything Jeremiah can do. He's able to summon those big abyssal golems. That's what I'll call them. He's summoned like these big abyssal golems anytime he wants to now. But yeah, not that much really happened in this episode. It was kind of just like an ending to like this small little arc we have, and showing like how Grion basically won in this episode, and now he's like more powerful, like not necessarily more powerful, but he has more resources now. He has more resources and like his own little pocket little army. And we also kind of have some foreshadowing of Cluto possibly end up like leaving this, or she's starting to feel like she's left in the background now, because Grion is really close to Autotropes, and he's really close to her now. He actually called her daughter in this episode, and now like Cluto's probably gonna start going down that path of like leaving, just like Laculus did. Also, no Laculus in this episode at all, really. But yeah, like there's really not that much. I mean, I loved the Sabimaru fight where he fought the dread drone. He ended up fighting that drone and actually beating it using the Excalibur sword that Ichinose uses when he's the X-Rex form. He's using that sword to fight the dread drone. And we see that Sabimaru's older brother ends up getting turned into a Amalgam, but he ends up getting turned into the Kamedan Amalgam, and now that Amalgam is like complete now. It's like a full Amalgam now, and it doesn't switch between the cannon and the turtle form. It's now fused those forms together. And we see that while they're both struggling to fight off what is ever like bothering them, like basically they're both basically dealing with like this PTSD. Like one's dealing with this big PTSD, and the other's dealing with all this guilt, and they're just total mental breakdowns going on in this episode as well. And what was funny was when when they had the amalgam of Sabimaru's brother, he was talking while he was in the amalgam trying to control himself. He's fighting Ichinose in his rainbow form, by the way. He's fighting in that, and he's like talking about everything he went through and all the grief and all the guilt and stuff that he feels and stuff like that. But he's like, it's representing him while he's in his human form, but he's like beating the crap out of Ichinose at the same time. Like he's slamming his hand out on him, he's kicking him. Like it just felt like it was just like I like what the scene was trying to tell me, and like what the representation of that was. It just seemed kind of funny, like this civilian, like this civilian out here beating the crap out of the main character's ultimate form for a second was actually funny. But since him and his brother like kind of reconcile with each other, Kamedan actually comes down in it. We see that Ichinose, it does end up defeating his brother, and makes Kamedan come out in his card form, and he throws the card to Sabimaru, and Sabimaru ends up using the card. He puts it inside the sword, and he ends up using Kamedan's power to beat the Dread Drone. He fought him in his regular human form with a sword, and it was actually kind of cool. It was like a representation of, Sabimaru getting over his PTSD and his fear of dread, since he was dread at one point, and all the hardships and all the heart-wrenching stuff he went through while they were controlling him as dread. So it was cool to see him cool to see Sabimaru actually have some character development and grow as a character and get past that mental blockage and PTSD he had with dread, while also reconciling and reigniting that good relationship he had with his older brother, which was really cool. I love that detail. But yeah, we also solved the frozen in place arc that Minato, Ringe, and Kudo had. Like, I'm glad they ended up getting that over with, because that little small B plot bit was starting to get on my freaking nerves. And yeah, we also got to see Spanner have basically have a better relationship with Rumi, the little girl who's all kind of just mean and kind of disrespectful to him, and then he ends up saving her from the fire and stuff like that after Gudeian basically sets the whole research facility ablaze. But yeah, he ends up saving her, and they end up being friends and stuff like that. It was a cool little happy ending. But Kamedan ends up leaving, and I don't know, like, we don't know where Kamedan went or why it even left. I'm like, why did this thing leave? But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see that Kimmy again. I mean, Kimmy was cool, but we got a few more episodes left, so I'm pretty sure maybe we won't see this Kimmy again after that, or maybe we will. We don't know. But other than that, this episode was fine. It was fine. I love the character development with Sabimaru. I love seeing him actually like defeat something by himself and stuff, get over his mental blockage and his mental problems that he had with his brother and dread and stuff like that. And Ichinose and Spanner were just here to be the Kamen Riders, like, yeah, Ichinose was there to help Sabimaru with his problems and stuff like that, help him with his problems that he had with his brother, trying to motivate him to go talk to him and stuff like that. But yeah, like, this episode was fine. But Gudeian won in this episode and has achieved like new power, and basically has his own little army now and stuff like that. So I guess no one's gonna be Dread anymore. He's basically turned Dread into a foot soldier, calling it a Dread trooper. So it's gonna be kind of scary to see like multiple Dreads all walking towards you like a freaking zombie. Yeah, I ain't with that. It's gonna be terrifying. But other than that, I think it's gonna be cool, but it's gonna be freaking terrifying. But it sucks that no one is gonna be Dread now. Like, I was hoping that Gudeian would stay being Kamen Rider Dread, and he's added on with all the Jeremiah's powers that he had now, but I guess not. And with the power of AI, he's able to mass produce these freaking dread drivers. So I don't know, maybe Cluto and all the tropes will like slap on a dread driver and turn into him and stuff like that. Like maybe that could happen, but it just seems, but it really doesn't. But personally, Cluto doesn't need it. She doesn't need it. She has her own transformation and stuff like that. Also, no Abyssal Kings in this episode. No Gigist and no Dialia, the other one. Like none of them. Like they weren't in this episode at all. Like it was all like main villain time was Grion. So that was actually cool, you know. But I'm kind of worried. I don't know what these two got going on in the background. We have to defeat them eventually. Like we do. I feel like we're gonna defeat them way before we end up fighting with Glion. But yeah, man, this episode's fine. It was cool. Had some cool moments in it, stuff like that. Like it was fine. You guys let me know down in the comment section below. What you guys think about this episode of Kamen Rider Gotchard? What do you think about the design of Kamedan? What do you think about Sabimaru actually defeating Dread and getting over his PTSD and getting over all the hardships and stuff he had with his brother and things like that? What do you think is Gideon gonna do next? Where do you think the other two Abyssal Kings are? All this stuff. You guys let me know down there in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, stay Henshined.